Hi, welcome to watch this small video, another technical skill small video. And today our topic is about extract data from Synergi Plant to Excel. And as you may know, there are various methods to extract data to Excel. And today I'm going to show you mainly two different ways of how can you extract non-standard data into Excel. So let's take a look. Okay, there are various methods to extract data to Excel. And the first one showing here is using the standard functions, which I'm not going to show you today. This is on the standard software screen in Synergi Plant. You can find different data grid like the asset data list, inspection work, or RPI, RCM. All this data, once you see the data grid, you can click the button to export the data to Excel. So this is a standard part of extracting data. But today, this video is about the non-standard data extraction. So I will show you mainly two methods how to extract the data. And the second one showing here is using the dashboard as a data source and the data list. So this is a mixture of standard function, but with the non-standard data script. Okay, so it's a very good way and a very good tool for you to extract the non-standard data in Synergi Plant. And then after that, I will focus a lot on the third method, which is using the Oracle Client driver and the Microsoft Query object to extract the data into Excel directly. Directly means you don't need to go in Synergi Plant, so you just need the database to extract the data you need. Okay, and to illustrate the idea, I also designed some scenarios. So here I want to show you three different scenarios. Of course, there are a lot more scenarios based on your actual usage. And who will be benefit from this? It's mainly for implementer, for project, but also there could be some other scenario for everybody. You never know when you need to extract the data from Synergi Plant. Right, so in scenario one, what we are trying to do is, it's a very common scenario. Sometimes the customer will tell you, I need this and this data, and I need to extract that every month, and I need to do something on it. So in this scenario, I make an example. This example is to extract a list of the non-due schedule job, and we need 1 year from now. So it's like a forecasting. I want to know what is the coming scheduled job in the coming year. But we have the forecast function in Synergi Plant. But to do that, you need to create the package. You need to click the generate, and you need to specify criteria, do the forecast. The function is there, but it's not very straightforward. And also, you cannot extract more attribute or very custom data set you want. So this example is to show you how to use the skill, the two different methods to extract the data into Excel spreadsheet. And then follow that, the scenario two is actually continue with the scenario one. Once you have some data extract, then the customer may say, okay, for this data I extract, I want to update many of them or all of them with certain column I want to change. So actually using the table extracted into Excel, you can quickly generate a SQL script to update the data inside. So that's a very efficient way to update the batch data inside. And then after that, I will also show you the scenario 3, which is a bit interesting. This scenario 3 is about how can you verify and confirm the data you loaded for customer is actually fully loaded and correctly loaded. Okay, so how can you quickly do that? Because you may have hundreds of data rows, thousands of data rows. So this is to show you how you can make use of this skill and to quickly verify and even show to the customers to say, see, dear customer, all your data is loaded, it's verified. Okay, so I will start with the scenario one. The scenario one is about extracting the the non-due schedule job with the time constraint within 1 year. So to do that, first I will go to my working folder, and for that purpose, I have made a SQL statement. Okay, you don't need to write a SQL statement if you don't know or you don't want, but for this SQL statement, normally you can get from developer or from me or from some other consultant if they know or they already have some good dashboard widget or somewhere they have this, the script. So this script, this SQL, what it does is to select, first it select the data from one data view. It's called via schedule. So this is the schedule data. And also when it select, it also exclude the outstanding activity. So if the schedule is already have some running activity, then it will not be tracked. And then the column here, I just simply select some column like the schedule item, like the information about the asset and the role, organization, what kind of activity. But the most important thing is the constraint on the due date. Okay, so this statement here in the where clause, it says that the next due date or the revised due date, it must be less than 1 year from now. Okay, so you can actually change this to become 1 month or 6 months or 10 years. Depends on how many days you want. Okay, and the good thing is also this is based on the system day, so it can be run multiple times, and every time you run it, it always select the data based on the date you run it. Okay, so that means you can refresh the data. Okay, so now I have this SQL statement. And the next thing I want to do, I want to show you how to use a SQL statement and the dashboard module. Instead of making a graphic, how can you use that to extract the data into Excel? Okay, so now I activate the Synergi Plant program and then log in. Okay, the dashboard actually has three main different parts. The first part is data source. So you go to the administration widget data to make a data source based on the SQL statement. And then the second part is you make the data source available in the modules to become a data list. And then the third step is to create a graphic widget and then drag it into the dashboard. So today I'm not going to show you the third part because my purpose is to extract data. It's not to make the widget, graphical widget. So first I go to administration configuration and the widget data menu. So here I have a screen which I can copy and paste my SQL statement. So I just copy everything here, copy and paste here. Okay, and then remove the last semicolon. And also sometimes there will be a funny first character here. All right, and then now you have the SQL statement here, and then you can run it. Then you see some data coming out. And on the right hand side, this is the column you select, the attribute. Okay, so which column you want to be used in the data list or to be applied to the data list, then you need to select it. So for my case, I will just include all of them. So click on include all. So all these are selected. Okay, so later on the data list will have all the columns you want. Right, then I can simply save it. So I say this data source is called, you need to give it a name. It's called forecast schedule jobs for 1 year, right? And the module here means which module you want to put this data list. So I just put in the planning module, which is the inspection module actually. So I save it. Then you see there is a new data source I just created under the planning modules. Right, so that's it about preparing the data list. So once you have that, you or the customer, anytime they can go into the module. Like right now I go to inspection management and click on the inspection list. So from the left hand side, I will have all my data source. Okay, so this one, the the one I just create. So click on it, then it will populate the data, right? And this is the paging options. I can say show all. Okay, so you populate all the data. And if you look into the data, because I only specify the day must be less than 1 year from now, so actually all the old non-due schedule work also will come out. Okay, so these are the days already passed, but it's never handled. And then if you scroll down, you can see that, okay, these are the future due date, okay, for the scheduled job. So what I can do here, just click on the export to Excel. This is a standard function for all the data GUI. Export to Excel, then it will download an Excel file. Okay, so now you have the data extracted from the dashboard data list. Okay, enable editing. Then you can do further process or print out as a list report. Okay, so it's a simpler way to expand the product capability. If we don't have a standard function to show some data, you can make a simple data list from the dashboard module, and then the user, the customer, or yourself, you can extract the data into Excel. Okay, so that's about the second method using the dashboard to extract with the scenario 1. Okay, and then after that, I will move to the third method. Okay, the third method here using the Oracle client and the Microsoft query. And actually, I'm going to use the same SQL statement to extract the same data, right? But to do that, I don't need Synergi Plant. I only need the SQL statement. Okay, and how do I do that? First, I go to a working folder, and then you create an Excel file. So let's say this is called forecast schedules in 1 year. Okay, I just give it a name. And what I want to do now, I want to extract the data into this spreadsheet without going to Synergi Plant. But actually, I'm accessing the Synergi Plant database. Okay, so you open the Excel, it's an empty Excel, and then you go to Data from Other Source. Okay, today I'm going to show you how to use from other source to use the Microsoft query as a source. So in the Microsoft query, you can see that there are different data sources already defined. Okay, and you can create a new data source, for example, like this, and you can give it a name. So this is like, I would say this is a Synergi Plant Excel demo. Okay, and then select the driver. Okay, and for the Synergi Plant, you need to select the Oracle client as the driver. So that means this can be run on any PC with the Oracle client installed and can connect to the Synergi Plant Oracle server. And of course, you can use the server to do that because you already have the server driver there. But if you are installing the Oracle Express server, then you still need to install the Oracle client to have the driver. Right, so now I can do a test connection with my TNS name and database user and the password. Okay, now you connect to the database and you can save your user ID. Okay, and now you create a data source. Here, the Excel demo data source. Okay, and then I can use that to extract my data. And here you can select from a single table, select some column. Yeah, this is very similar to Microsoft Access or SQL Server user interface. But for today, I'm not going to do that because I have my own SQL statement. So I will just say continue editing the query. Yes. And come here again, you can select some table out, drag some graphic here, but I don't want to do that because, as I say, I have my own SQL statement. So I just click on the SQL button and copy my SQL statement and paste here. Okay. And then he say it cannot be represented by graphic. That's okay. So I get my data into the query. Okay, if you want, you can also save a query object. But for my purpose, I just want it into Excel. So I don't save the query object. But then after I close the query object, it will ask me where you want to put the data. So I put in the first column, first row. Then I get the data. Okay, so that's a simple way. Once you have a SQL statement, you can extract any data, whatever data you want, into Excel. And also the good thing for this is that it's the Excel file, right? And it is also a table structure inside the Excel file with the query object embedded with the data source linked. Okay, so for example, I can disable the filter, or sorting, all these are Excel functions. And furthermore, I can go to the table design here, and then if I mess up some data, or maybe after 1 month the customer want to use again, you can use the refresh here. Okay, so I will show you that. First, I save this, and let me close this. So what I just did, I create a Excel file which is called forecast schedule in 1 year. So you can actually deliver this as a custom data query to the customer, and they put it on a certain PC. They have an Oracle driver there. So every time they want to use, they just need to double click and open the Excel, enable the content, and you can go to the design and refresh it. Okay, so once you refresh it, you will need to connect to the database. Okay, yeah, then you refresh all the data coming out. Okay, so that's about the method 3. You can actually use that. And again, I'm still in scenario 1. I just show you the 2 different ways. You can use the dashboard data list, data source, or you can use the Excel together with a query and Oracle driver. Okay, and here is a slide to show you that how this work with the query and the driver. So basically, the Oracle server is connected to the Oracle client on the PC, and the Oracle client is connected to data source, and then this data source is used by query, Microsoft Query object. And here, you can use the query to push the data into Excel. But what I did just now is a reverse way. I create an empty Excel first, and then create a query, define a new data source, define the driver, so I can pull out the data from Oracle. So in the reverse way, it means you can do everything within one Excel file. Okay, so the SQL statement, the driver, everything set here, and then you get your data out into the Excel. All right. So if this is useful for you, I will also encourage you to try some other SQL statement and see how you can extract other data out. But for now, I will just move to the scenario 2. The scenario 2 is about, okay, I have extract some data, and then how can I use this data to quickly generate a batch update script to update some data. I will explain to you. Okay, so now I have this data set. So remember, what is this data? This is all the schedule job. Let me try to make it looks better. Okay, this is the unique identifier for each record. I need that to do the update. So actually I extract that, I know I need that. And then the last column here, this is the due date for the schedule job, remember? And because there are also some old due dates already passed, but this one was never generated, so it's still coming out. And if you scroll down, you can see there are some schedule job which the due date is not reached yet. So this is in the future days. So what could happen in the customer side? The customer might say, okay, for all this overdue job, I still want to run it. I still want to inspect the equipment, but I want to set it in the near future. So let's say I set it in the end of March of this year. Okay, so I make a column here, and I will just call it revise due date. Okay, just to understand what it is. So I want to revise the due date, and for all the due date which is already passed, I want to do the same. Okay, so I go to the end, move to here, and select all of them, and then pass. Okay, you notice how I use Excel. Yeah, you need to be familiar with the control arrows and the shift and everything. Then you can move very fast and select things very fast. Okay, but then for the future days, I want to keep it as the future day. So this means I want to update all the record with my revised due date. Okay, during the implementation, this is a very common requirement. You want to update all the record for something, for some column, for some attribute. Okay, so now how I'm going to do that? Remember, I have the unique identifier in the first column. I have the data I want to update in the last column. So actually what I'm going to do is to write a simple SQL statement here. I say I want to do an update, and of course you need to know which table to update. So this is the TSS schedule, and set. Okay, set the revised due date to something. Okay, set to what? Set to the column I just specified here. So for this record, it is the I2. So I will say this is the, but I need to convert it into day format. Okay, so I say this is today, and then I can concatenate with the data I have in the Excel, and then concatenate again, then continue to write my SQL statement. So this is to finish the today function, dd mm y. Okay, so this is my today. So I set the revised due date to this day, and where I need to give a constraint, the unique identifier, so ID equals to the first column, right? So the first column, again, I can concatenate A2, and then give an ending semicolon. So actually this SQL is very simple. I want to update the revised due date with my I2, which is here, where the ASO ID equals to A2, which is a unique identifier. So once I click the enter, it will generate a SQL statement, and actually because it's a table, it will generate all the SQL statement for all the data row. So imagine you have 5,000 row or 10,000 row, it will generate in one shot. And then I can select this. I just need to go down and arrow and control and go down. Select everything of them, and then I can create an empty text file. Okay, pass here, and finally commit. So this is the SQL statement file I can run into Synergi Plant, which it would update all the data I want. Yeah, you can see that this is how you formulate a SQL statement using the Excel data you just extract. Okay, very convenient. So after you run this, all the revised due date will be updated to the dates you set in the Excel. Okay, so that's scenario 2. And then I will finish the scenario 2 and move on to the scenario 3. Yeah, scenario 3 is actually a very interesting thing. It's suppose you are loading some data. For this example, I'm loading some storage tank tag. And how can you show to the customer, say, all my data is security and fully and correctly loaded? So that's about the scenario. So first, I will show you the original data loading sheet. Okay, so this one, suppose this is already formulated based on the loading sheet format. So you have a set of data. These are all the storage tank, and you have formulated to our loading sheet format with the description, with the icon, equipment, everything here, and the parent process, equipment type. So I'm not going to show you the loading process. You should already know using the window client, window configuration client. You can use the data loading function and select this loading sheet and actually load the data in. But what I'm going to show you is after you load the data in, how are you going to verify it? Okay, so that's the point. So for that, I write a SQL statement. So let's take a look on this SQL statement. It's also quite simple. I use a lot of function to get the data I want. So basically the idea is the data is already in the database. So I want to extract it with the same range of data and the same attribute of the data. And then I want to match it with the original data loading sheet. Okay, so here I extract the storage tank and for all the tag, which are storage tank, and then I get the column, the same column I want, the key, the description, the icon I want, process unit, session, equipment type, sketch. So it's matching the original data I supposed to load. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I will select this SQL statement, and then I'm going to create an Excel to extract this data out. So if you remember, I'm going to do it again the second time, but I will do it faster. So you can see actually it can be very fast. Okay, so I create a Excel, go to the data from Microsoft Query, and here I can reuse the data source. Yeah, I already created this data source. Okay, so you connect to the data source, and I don't need the table, continue edit, and the query again, I don't need the table, SQL statement, pass here, get the data into query, and then get the data into Excel, put it in the right place. Right? 1 minute, you can extract the data out. And then again, I would like to disable the filter. So this is the data I extract from the database. Now I want to compare it with my original data loading sheet. So to do that, first I need to move them together. So I copy into my original data loading sheet and maybe put it in the front. Okay, so I copy here, and to write some formula I need to give it a name. So I said this is extracted tank tag. Okay, so let me close the previous one. This temporary one I don't need. Okay, save this one first. So now I have two spreadsheets here. This one is the original loading sheet, and this one is after I load the data, I extract back to Excel, extract out to Excel. Okay, so how am I going to check it? I'm not going to check it one by one. I may have 5,000 records, remember? So I will write a formula here in the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so actually I already prepared the formula for you, so I will not do it wrong. Okay, so I will explain what is this formula, and let me pass it here. Okay, it produces a 1. What does it mean, a 1? Okay, if you look at the formula here, first it do VLOOKUP. It has a VLOOKUP. Use the A2 column, which is the key. Okay, to look up from a table, which table? The extract 10 tag sheet. That's the first sheet. And from column I to column I, column A to column I. So you use this tag key to look up from the data you extract, and to get the second column, that is the 2 here. The second column is the description, and then compare that with the B2. B2 is my original description, and if it's the same, then you return 1. Okay, if it's not the same, you return 0. So this 1 actually means my description here is identical to the one of the description here. Okay, because I matched by the asset key to look up for the correct data, which is matching. So how many column I need to check? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so actually I will do it 8 times. Okay, it's based on column, not the row, so it's still okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And for each column, I will extract the different column out from the table, the lookup table. And here I compare with the C2, which is the next column. Okay, that's a good thing to write formula, right? So here I would say this is number 4, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Okay, so now I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, actually, I don't need the first one. First one is the key. You must match the key to find the column, right? So this one is to check the B column. This one is C, D, E, F, G, H. Oh, forget about I. So I need another one for the I. So this is number 9. So actually I need to do it 8 times until the 9th column. Alright, and this is my matching matrix. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to again do a summary here from the J2 to the Q2. So if everything is matched, this should give you a number of 8. Okay, number of 8 means all the 8 columns are matched, and they can be 5 by the key. Alright, so now I'm going to copy this to all the rows. Okay, and remember, you can quickly go down and let me check. Quickly go down and shift and select all the rows to pass. Okay, so now I actually have done the matrix to do the verification. So I will give you a name. I will do a merge here and say this is verification matrix. Okay, and make it looks nicer. As I say, you can actually deliver this to the customer to confirm that you are actually load everything successfully. But actually, now we scroll down and check. Everything is an 8. Perfect, right? So, and now let's try. Suppose I have something. Let's say this one. If this is a new tag, so this is new tank 1, and this is new tank 2. Okay, if in the case these are actually new assets, right? And you can see that you're checking, of course, you cannot find a match. So it will be like not the matching criteria. So it will be like not available. You cannot find a match. Okay, so using this way, you can quickly find which data you maybe forget to load, or you loaded it not correctly, or it come because I extract the data from the database and match that with the original data I got from the customer. So it's a very convincing and also very efficient way to check all the data you load. Okay, so I will just undo it, undo it here, undo it again. Okay, so now I have all the data matched. I can also make a final check here and say this is, I want to summarize from the second row to the last row, which is 131. That means I have 130 row, and it come out with this number. Okay, summary of all the check. And if I compare that with 8 times 130, it's matching. This means all the data in all the rows, all the column, they are matching. Okay, so means that the data I extract is actually matching the data I load. Okay, because it uses VLOOKUP, so as long as you can find the exact match, then it will return a 1 when you compare is correct. Okay, so that is hopefully it's useful for you. So that is my scenario 2. Quickly show you that how to do that with data verification using the skill to extract the data from Excel. So a quick summary. I just quickly show you how to use the dashboard data source screen and to run your custom SQL statement to extract the data into Excel. And also I focus a lot on using this Microsoft query and the Excel spreadsheet directly to extract the data into Excel. So in terms of scenario, yeah, it can be different scenario. It can be that the customer wants some special data list. It can be that yourself, you want to extract some data for some purpose, right? And also you can use the data you just extract to quickly generate the data script you want to update the data back. Okay, so this is I show you in the scenario 2. And finally, scenario 3, you can use the extracting of data to match with the data before the loading. So it becomes a loop. Okay, you can verify all the data are successfully loaded. Then you can say to the customer, dear customer, all your data is here, is fully loaded, correctly loaded. Okay, please sign off. I can go home. Right? So that's it. Thank you for watching this video and have a nice day. Bye bye.